You're pitiful, losing both your fiancé and your job. I, on the other hand, am going to be happy. That's what my colleague, who stole my fiancé just before our wedding, said to me. I was forced out of my position at the company by her lies and requested a transfer to a subsidiary. This move, in turn, ended up disrupting the fates of both my ex-fiancé and that colleague. I am Karen, a 27-year-old employee. I've been dedicated to my career ever since graduating from college, never having a boyfriend. Then Paul, who joined the company later, pursued me passionately. We started dating and have been together for 2 years. Our wedding was set in 4 months. I was busy with the preparations. Miss Tanner, here's the invitation to my wedding. Thank you. Oh, your wedding is coming up. How exciting. I handed an invitation to my direct supervisor, Miss Tanner, a career woman I admire. By the way, Nancy called in sick again today. I see. Got it. Nancy, a colleague of only 4 months, honestly isn't great at her job. She gets by on charm and cuteness. Male colleagues smitten by her often help her out. I frequently had to work overtime to cover for Nancy, but with her absent today, I might leave early. As expected, I finished my work on time. Paul had taken the day off, so I decided to surprise him with a meal and headed to his place with groceries without an appointment. I had a key, so I entered quietly. The entryway was dark, but beyond it was light, so I used my phone's flashlight. Thinking about his surprise, I saw something unbelievable. Pink heels, not mine. These heels? I recognized these heels. Further down the hallway lay a woman's suit and stockings, all items that would complete Nancy. When you put them all together, Nancy is completed. All that was missing was Nancy herself. Angry, I burst into the living room. Wow, you scared me! Karen, what are you doing here? You're usually working late. Thanks to the cause of my overtime hugging you, I got off on time. Nancy glared at me. I wondered why she had the nerve to glare at me. Or maybe she was just furious. Huh? This is a broken engagement. We were about to get married. What were you thinking? Oh, what a hassle. I hated that about you. Nancy's young, clingy, and she comforts me. Don't make decisions for me. I'm the one calling off the engagement. I'll pay the cancellation fees. Consider it tuition. Paul spoke with a laugh, not feeling guilty at all, while Nancy looked triumphant. I was too shocked to speak. I was disgusted, and agreed to the broken engagement, then went home. I drank out of frustration, unable to sleep, and greeted the morning unrested. At the office, rumors of our broken engagement had already spread. Likely Nancy's doing. Karen, can we talk? Miss Tanner, of course. Suddenly called by my boss, I entered the meeting room. I heard from other employees. Is it true that your engagement is off? Yes, it's already spread. I don't care about the rumors, but I don't want to work here anymore. Those two aren't even trying to hide their affair, right? They're probably painting me as the villain. Miss Tanner then made a suggestion. How about a transfer to a subsidiary? Leave it to me? A transfer? Her response was unexpected, and I felt a bit sad. Why do I, the victim, have to leave a place I love and Miss Tanner behind? Miss Tanner continued speaking. Actually, I've been talking you up to my colleagues for a while now, and they really wanted you on their team. But I always subtly declined because you're essential here, and you were about to get married. I was touched to learn Miss Tanner spoke highly of me, and her kindness brought tears to my eyes, still fresh from my wounds. This made me consider that starting anew somewhere else might be a good idea. I don't want to lose you, Karen, but I think this could be a turning point. Come back when you're ready. so I transferred to the subsidiary as suggested by Miss Tanner. A year passed and I was enjoying my work. It was everything I wanted to do, as Miss Tanner had said. I missed working with Miss Tanner, but since we lived close, we spent our private time almost like family. Her husband and daughter were also kind, and it made me want to get married again. Around that time, I found an invitation in my mailbox. Opening it, I was shocked to see it was from Nancy, inviting me to her wedding. I called Nancy. "Hello, long time no see." "How dare you send me an invitation? Do people normally invite the person whose fiancé they stole to their wedding?" Nancy's triumphant laughter came through the phone. "You're pitiful, losing both your fiancé and job. I'm going to be happy. Since you probably won't get married, Karen, consider this an act of kindness from a colleague, letting you at least experience the atmosphere." You really are nasty. Paul was easily fooled by you. I dislike that someone with Nancy's ethics stole my fiancé, but maybe it's worse that Paul fell for her so easily. Or maybe I'm to blame for trusting such a man. What's the truth? I'm still too inexperienced to know. I'll make sure to throw the bouquet your way, so please catch it. I don't want any hard feelings now that I'm getting married. I don't have hard feelings either. Sure, I'll come. I want to see Miss Tanner, and I'm over Paul anyway. Honestly, I had no lingering feelings. Changing jobs made me genuinely want to wish them well. I accepted the invitation. A week later, an unwelcome visitor showed up at my office. As I was leaving, someone called out from behind. "Hey, long time no see. How have you been?" Turning around, it was Paul, but something was off. He looks like Paul, but his body was different. "Paul, you seem different. Did you lose weight?" "Yeah, I'm getting married soon. I've been slimming down to look good in a tuxedo. Impressed?" No, it looks more like he was worn down than slimmed down. "Really? Congratulations. Your fiancée is Nancy, right?" "You knew? Hey, why don't we get back together? I'm thinking of calling off the wedding." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. He was planning to cancel another wedding. What? Are you serious? Now you're betraying Nancy? Well, she's gotten lazy with housework since we got engaged, and she's gained a lot of weight. She's pregnant, but she uses it as an excuse to slack off. You, on the other hand, have gotten prettier. I was thinking maybe we could get married. You still love me, right? I realized again how lucky I was not to have married him. Even though it's Nancy, I can't help but feel a bit sorry for her. No way! She's carrying your child and you're complaining? If I had married you and gained weight, would you have dumped me too? It's a good thing we broke up. I don't know if she's neglecting housework or if it's too hard for her, but in this day and age, you should be more supportive. Anyway, I have to go. Bye. I tried to leave quickly because Paul's unfocused gaze was frightening, but he grabbed my wrist tightly. Ouch! Let go! I don't want to cause a misunderstanding, and I'll scream if I have to. What's your problem? You should have overlooked that one-time affair. I always loved you, but you left me so easily when I tested you. You never took me seriously. His grip on my wrist tightened. It was surprisingly strong for his thin arm. He dragged me into an alley, making it even harder to call for help. Calm down. If I call the police, you'll get arrested. Before you can call, I'll smash your phone. Go ahead, try me. You don't have a place at your old company anymore. Nancy spread lies about you cheating. If you get back with me, you can return to the company. Just when things seemed hopeless, someone appeared behind Paul. Paul and Karen, what are you doing here? Is this an affair? Thinking the enemy of my enemy might be a friend, I looked at Nancy, noticing her pregnant belly. It's not like that. He's forcing himself on me. He's your husband, right? Take him home. No, this isn't fair. I should demand compensation since it's caught in the act. The enemy of my enemy turned out to be another enemy. It felt almost like a trap. What? You're just after money. That child isn't even mine, right? I should be the one demanding compensation. What? There's no proof? Just so you know, if you do a DNA test, I'll sue you for defamation. Nancy and Paul started arguing. The enemy of my enemy was an enemy to each other too. Can I go? I have a meeting to attend. You're not going anywhere. This is all your fault. I slept with you because you were a rising star, and it turns out it wasn't a lie. Of course. I had advised Paul to succeed, and Miss Tanner was angry at him for neglecting me. There was no way I could continue getting their support. I'll get a statement from you two. Say you'll pay compensation. I'll squeeze you dry and live a wealthy life. Nancy had something sharp in her hand. Things were getting dangerous. Just then, someone came to stop this war. Karen, are you okay? I was worried and came to pick you up. The person startled by Nancy's knife was Brian, a man I met at the subsidiary. Brian? Why are you here? Sorry, I don't remember. Nancy looked visibly disappointed. It seems she knew Brian, but he didn't recognize her. Remember? We met at a company meeting about a year ago. Oh, right. Thank you for that time. But why are you here? Well, actually, these two are the ones I mentioned. They invited me to their wedding. Brian nodded and listened attentively. I was grateful for someone who listened like that. Oh, I see. Congratulations. The moment Nancy heard the word wedding, she smiled and started a fake crying act, approaching Brian. Brian, these two were having an affair. They were holding hands just now. I can't live anymore. Please help me. It seemed Nancy was now targeting Brian. Brian is tall, handsome, and has a great personality, popular at the company. Hey, don't say weird things in front of my fiancé. Wait, fiancé? Nancy looked surprised, glancing back and forth between me and Brian. Actually, we're getting married soon. There's no way Karen would do such a thing. We're already living together, so there's no chance for her to cheat. I really love Karen. We went to the same university, and I've had a crush on her for a long time. Miss Tanner, your former boss, told me about her, and it felt like fate. I couldn't live with the regret of not expressing my feelings, so I approached her. It's so unfair that it's always Karen. I had my eye on you first. I'll give Paul to you, so let's exchange. It's almost time for your wedding, right? How about a spouse swap? Paul and Karen were engaged, so why not get back to that? Nancy's desire was clear even then, but Brian was out of her league. No way, that's impossible. I remember now, you were quite assertive back then, but my heart is set on Karen. I can't throw away a love that's finally come to fruition. Oh, speaking of throwing away, you're Paul, right? I've heard the story from Karen. Despite being on the verge of marriage, you cheated on her. That's, I got carried away. Brian's focus suddenly shifted to Paul, who panicked. No, I'm grateful, really. Breaking up right before the wedding allowed me to be where I am now, about to marry Karen. It's like hitting a grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. I knew from Miss Tanner that one of her subordinates was getting married, but I didn't know it was Karen. Oh, I see. That's good then. We'll be going now. Since Brian's arrival, Paul seemed deflated. Why was that? Was it because he found out I had a fiancé after trying to reconcile with me? Nancy answered my question. Hey, why are you leaving without permission? Stop it! This man is the next president of our company. If we offend him... I was shocked by Paul's response. What? Really? I hadn't heard that. It was supposed to be a secret, but now that it's out, I didn't want to tell you because of my title, afraid of being chased by gold diggers. I wanted a genuine relationship with Karen. Remember the recent dinner party? Dad didn't come, right? He adjusted for me. He actually likes Karen a lot and has been eager to meet her. I heard that being tested like this can be annoying, but I didn't mind. I wished I had tested Paul when he cheated. I see. If I were in your position, I'd have done the same. Oh, if we had met earlier, they would have known your father. It's so unfair. I want you. If we haven't met face to face, I can still switch without being noticed, right? Brian sighed and then smiled at Nancy's statement. Don't worry, my dad already knows about you. Nancy smiled, but Brian's next words crushed her. Going to hotels during work hours, claiming to be on business trips but actually vacationing. Did you think you wouldn't get caught? Hey, Paul, did you think you got away with it? Paul was stunned and speechless. Please forgive me. That's something you should say to my dad. Though, I think it's better if you say it yourself. Let's go. Brian escorted me away, ensuring that the two couldn't retaliate. Their arguing echoed in the alley. The next day, they were both called in and summarily dismissed. They faced claims for damages, leaving them with a huge debt from compensation to me, company damages, and wedding expenses. Eventually, they divorced. Love born from betrayal rarely lasts. Success in such relationships requires the right steps, otherwise feelings change. That's why there's no sense of crisis in affairs or cheating. It turned out Nancy had cheated too. Paul, frustrated, complained to his former colleagues, but the lies had been corrected, so no one sympathized with him. I learned this from Miss Tanner. I returned to my former company, utilized my skills, and was promoted. I was grateful for the recognition. Be thankful to me. I connected you with such a wonderful man. Miss Tanner, I'll follow you forever. And please teach me cooking. Miss Tanner taught me cooking, acting like a boss, a mother, and a sister. I had to be careful not to make Brian jealous. Betraying people never leads to anything good. Paul used to be decent. Oh, you're still too kind. His success was due to your help. Turns out, at his previous company, he was more or less a write-off. He just blamed others and left. I realize I might not be great at judging people, but those who care for me truly see me. It looks like happiness is waiting for me ahead.